Nationally recognized photographer Diana Mara Henry was only in her mid-20s when she was appointed the official photographer for both the National Commission on the Observance of International Women's Year and the first National Women's Conference in 1977. Henry's collection, housed in the W.E.B. Du Bois Library at the UMass Amherst, is a rich archive of 4 decades of political, social, and cultural change in America beginning in the late 1960s, as seen through the lens of one photojournalist. Her body of work ranges from coverage of the New York fashion scene in the 1970s to photo essays on one-room schoolhouses in Vermont and everyday life in Brooklyn, France, Nepal, and Bali. It is particularly rich in documenting the women's movement, second-wave feminism, and the political scene of the 1970s. Henry's Women on the Move exhibit serves as a remarkable record of women in politics, housing dozens of images of Bella Abzug, Shirley Chisholm, Liz Carpenter, Betty Friedan, Jane Fonda, Elizabeth Holtzman, and Gloria Steinem. In 2012, an exhibit was held in New York City on the 30th anniversary of the First National Women's Conference to celebrate Diana Mara Henry's exhibit, Women on the Move.
Now, this display of photographs from the National Women's Conference and the New York State Women's Meeting of 1977 is truly amazing, and everyone should take some time tonight and really look at those photos. It's an extraordinary achievement and testament to the dedication of these brave women to change the social and political landscape of our country. They carried the torch of a new generation, moving women's issues to the forefront of our nation's consciousness, where they stayed now for 35 years.
Gloria Steinem, a critical member of the women's movement, who is featured in numerous photographs by Diana Mara Henry, spoke at the event.
Listening to Diana, you can see the inclusive, careful, thoughtful, humane, humorous spirit that is behind the camera that makes the photographs as universal as they are, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, a different person would have produced a much more limited record. I have found so often in the years since then that this was an event that makes me measure my life before it and after it. I mean, I really, as much as I thought in my head that I believed that women could together pull off a huge, national, complicated, protested, resented by Congress that financed it effort, I'm not sure that I really believed it. And it was only afterwards that I had that kind of confidence. And it was this event that did it. And actually, for the female half of the population, and in general, in terms of being representative by economics and culture and ethnicity and race and experience and so on, it is the most democratic movement or meeting and series of meetings. I mean, just in New York State alone, there were 20,000 people electing delegates and selecting issues that this nation has ever seen. You know what I mean? So it's so wonderful to be in a room full of memories that makes it real all over again, and to understand deeply that it was a beginning.
Congresswoman Elizabeth Holtzman also spoke at the event, reflecting on the movement and expressing her gratitude for Diana's photographs.
Thank you, Diana, for sharing these wonderful photos with us. You may see in her book a photo that she took of me on the Brooklyn Bridge, which was my campaign photo in 1972. Helped to elect me. It shows what a great photographer she is, and it's great to be reminded of the history. Gloria reminds us it was filled with such energy, and it reflected the views of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of women around the country. It was fabulous. And so the amazing thing is that this story, our story, didn't start with this conference. It actually didn't even start with the Seneca Falls Conference. Women have been fighting for a very long time to be counted just as human beings. And the only thing we can do is move that process along a wee bit faster. And we're going to do that. And that conference was a way of showing that women had an agenda, and it wasn't an agenda just for themselves, it was an agenda for families, for the country, for the world. It was a way of showing everyone's innate dignity and humanity. And that's a lesson, that still hasn't been learned, but we're going to make sure, at least in the United States, that not, as Martin Luther King said, how much longer? Not much longer. That's the message. Thank you, Diane.
One of the most touching moments of the event for Diana was the reunion of the 3 torchbearers, whom she had photographed in the Women on the Move First National Women's Conference March from Houston.
Most exceptionally, I want to thank Peggy Kokernot Kaplan, the woman who represented the First National Women's Conference on the cover of Time magazine in 1977, and her amazingly successful efforts to find the other 2 women the magazine should have put on the cover, since they carried the torch also for the last triumphant mile of the 2,600 miles from Seneca Falls to Houston. Michelle Cearcy and Sylvia Ortiz. The editorial prejudice which existed then still exists today in the coverage of other stories, and I beg you to be aware, as you view the photographs you're provided with, of all the beautiful humanity that's left on the cutting room floor and the slaughter that comes from these malicious decisions. In any case, thanks to Peggy, we're now 6 new friends bonded together by these photographs that made the mark on their lives I'll tell you about. I could have made all my remarks about this amazing reunion with the torchbearers, but I want to leave time for the stories that you all have to tell.
As luck would have it, I found myself running the torch relay, first in Alabama, the 16-mile stretch that Phyllis Schlafly was able to get that boycotted by other runners. And then, of course, the last mile with all the dignitaries, but especially Michelle and Sylvia. It opened my eyes to the injustices that many women face, but it also showed me the enormous power that women have when they come together as a movement.
All right, I will tell you I'm an educator of 36 years. I teach and I coach volleyball, and I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for the movement back then.
At the time, I was only 16 years of age, a baby. I enjoyed the event. My mom gave me the go-ahead to participate in the event. It was very exciting. It was challenging. It was a learning experience for me.
A few of the many other influential women who spoke at the event included Carmen Delgado and Melba Tolliver.
1977 was historic. It was fun. It was a challenge. It taught our nation that women meant business. It wasn't fame and fortune that mattered there. It was commitment. It was commitment to some ideas that were ripe at the moment.
I want to say, Diana, that I'm really here because of you, because you have been so passionate about these photographs, about documenting this unique event. And I just had a chance to be touched by your passion, and I just wanted to be here to support you, to see the pictures mounted, and to thank you for holding this precious gift for so long, so patiently.
Amy Simon of She's History entertained the conference with her performance as Bella Abzug.
Do you know me?
Yeah.
Well, good, because American Express did not know me. And when I was in the Congress of the United States and I applied for an American Express card, they told me I had to get my husband to sign for it. So I called my husband. I said, Martin, American Express says you have to sign for my card. He said, Bella, I love you. I wouldn't trade you, even for Joe Namath. But you're going to have to tell American Express to give you your own card. So, in the Congress of the United States, we passed the credit law in which we were able to get women to get their own credits. And I wasn't sure I wanted to get an American Express card, but I decided to so I could tell this story. And that is what Bella Abzug really said in a fake American Express commercial. She made it in 1983 for a women's conference at Rutgers University. She wanted to make a point. Bella was 50 years old when she first got into Congress. There were 435 members of Congress. 9 of them were women. She was one of them. First day on the job, she tries to get the troops out of Vietnam. The first member of Congress to ask for Nixon's impeachment. One of the first members of Congress to ask for gay rights. She was the first on everything important, they said. She was a great, great pain in the ass. Give hell, Bella. That is what I heard growing up here in New York with Bella. Thank you for letting me do Bella Abzug.
Politically, I hope to see a stamp series honoring women leaders of the 1970s. As depicted in my photographs of Shirley, Bella, Liz Carpenter, Betty Friedan, and Coretta. Diana Mara Henry 20th Century Photographer collection that now resides in